This has got to be one of the most iconic moments of my entire YouTubing career. Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. The channel that 80 days ago to this very day decided to make what some people thought was a horrendous decision to make a bold statement such as why Kai Havertz would choose to join Chelsea over rival clubs this summer. And I stand here today and I'm going to show you, I'm going to film this, I'm going to just not edit any of this stuff. I'm going to show you how perfect this whole thing is. I'm walking down this beach and I'm looking for a place to pitch up and film this video for you all, because you've all been wondering where I've been with the news dropping that Kai Havertz is pretty much a Chelsea player. It's now done. The fees have been arranged, personal terms agreed. Chelsea and Bayer Leverkusen, both parties are happy. Kai's happy, and I'm walking along the beach and I see this blooming beanbag or a punching bag with Chelsea Football Club on it, and then I also find, let me film it, there's you lot right there. It's a blue surfboard. Like, can you get any better than this? It's a little bit redonkulous, but welcome back to the George Benson football channel. I want to ask you, before we do anything else, to hit the subscribe button. As I said, we call things 80 days in advance here on this channel, so if you want to get involved in that kind of drama, drop a subscription, hit the like button on today's video, and the moment that we hit 10,000 likes, I'll be uploading the second video of the day. So hopefully we're all in a good mood. Hit the like button. And let's talk a little bit about how this deal went through, why it went through, what it means for Chelsea, what it means for us fans to be experiencing yet another incredible marquee signing. Before we get into any of the ifs, the whats, the whys, it's our record signing. Chelsea Football Club, in the history of the club, this is the most expensive player signing that we've ever made. So it's a flipping big deal, and it's a 21-year-old German who, we're not just talking about potential with this kid. I've said this so many times over the past few weeks. Kai Havertz is already a player who can walk into the first team of virtually any team. When we were looking at competition, it was Real Madrid who were interested. Bayern Munich were interested, the European champions. Bayern Munich couldn't afford him because they went out and bought Leroy Sané. Real Madrid also couldn't afford him because, well, they spent money on Eden Hazard last year, which left Chelsea without their best player during a transfer ban. And wow, I will take transfer bans once every 3 or 4 years if we get this kind of ecstasy after it's all finished in the summer, when we can then spend money because we didn't spend it the summer before. Before we talk about like why I feel like this deal happened, what it is about Frank Lampard that seems to pull players in at the moment, I want to look at Fabrizio Romano's tweets. If you don't follow Fabrizio Romano, I feel a little bit like I'm doing him injustice by not telling you to go follow him, because he's the one who reports all the news. I'm just the guy. I don't have like access to the clubs. I don't have access to journalists who have the insider information. I'm just here like using a bit of psychology and logic to explain why I think something would happen, and then from a footballing sense, I talk about why it would be good. So, without any further ado, we're going to go through all of the tweets from Fabrizio Romano that sent us all into raptures on social media last night. New bid submitted 3 days ago. Bayer Leverkusen told to Chelsea on last night they're going to accept. Same today morning with Havertz himself. Paperwork's time is now on. More details about personal terms, Lampard and Havertz, he sent us to his Instagram. So, as I said in my last video where we talked about Kai Havertz, it's always, we hear on social media after something has happened. So when things are tweeted from journalists such as Fabrizio Romano, behind the scenes during those moments is when the progressions are actually being made. So a couple of days ago, I said to you guys that there was still a little bit of a gap between what Chelsea were offering to pay and what Bayer Leverkusen wanted for the player. When we get all of this information, we knew that behind closed doors, behind the scenes, Marina Granovskaya, Chelsea Football Club, Bayer Leverkusen, the player's agent, and probably a little conversation with the player himself, everybody was coming to their agreements. Everybody was kind of bridging the gaps that were there. And now the fee has been agreed. Chelsea have their man. It's not announced officially by the club, but it would literally take a meteorite to hit the world at this point for this deal not to go through. So we move and we take a little look at the next tweet, and the next one says, confirmed, Chelsea and Bayer Leverkusen to sign the agreement for Kai Havertz for 100 million euros, add-ons included, 80, 10, 10. 5-year contract. Lampard already spoke with Kai, we're going to get into this in a moment. Paperwork's time between the two clubs to complete every detail. Here we go soon. We know, and if you follow Fabrizio Romano and you know the way that he conducts his business on social media, here we go is the 3-word catchphrase that basically means that we can all sit here and have a little pina colada. So the fact that this deal is Chelsea's record signing, I actually look at it and I genuinely believe with the amount of money that was spent on Mbappe, yes, he's a goal scorer, Havertz is also a flipping goal scorer, Chelsea have broken their record on a player who, you know, rival clubs can sit here and say, like, he won't be your player in 2025, he'll go to Real Madrid. All right, sounds good. We signed Eden Hazard for 32 million. Turns out to be probably the most talented player to ever wear the Chelsea shirt, and we get 100-odd million for him after. This is an incredible piece of business from Chelsea. We know financially in the footballing world that, yes, 100 million is a vast sum of money, but as the years go on, 100 million is probably going to become 200 million. So the money that Chelsea have spent now, if Kai Havertz does decide that the legacy at Chelsea, which I think it's going to be pretty special, if he does want to move on to a Real Madrid aspirational club, okay, no worries, Chelsea can profit off of the signing. At this moment in time, I think there's nothing that rival fans can say to us that's going to change our mood, that's going to change our minds about this being an incredible piece of business for Chelsea. And I want to bring back up the tweet. Frank already spoke to the player. We've seen it in the interviews with Hakim Ziyech, Timo Werner, that Frank Lampard is one of the major reasons why these players agreed to join Chelsea. Frank Lampard was one of the best, if not the best, goal scorer midfielder of his generation. I will sit here and say that until the day that I die, because I grew up watching Frank Lampard. He was an idol of mine. He's a hero of mine. And, you know, these players are looking at this Chelsea project now. And I want to bring this up because I think it's very important that even though it's been frustrating over the years that we've chopped and changed managers, we had Antonio Conte, we fell in love with him during that first season when we won the Premier League, and then it went sour despite winning the FA Cup in the second season because it seemed as though everyone found out his tactics. He was too naive maybe, or too proud to change his tactics, and he ended up falling out of love with Chelsea, and Chelsea ended up falling out of love with him. We fire him, we bring in Maurizio Sarri, we promise this beautiful Sarri ball style of football, gonna make us the most attractive club in Europe. Realistically, we didn't necessarily have the players to make that happen. Maurizio Sarri comes in, we win another trophy. This is why our club is just so good, because even in the seasons where there's turmoil amongst some fans who are not happy with this, or we fire the manager or the manager leaves for whatever reason, we still end up winning things, don't we? Maurizio Sarri wins us the Europa League. Bring in Super Frankie Lampard. It brought a feel-good factor to this football club. Last summer, I remember the excitement during pre-season. We beat Barcelona and we're thinking, Super Frank's already beaten one of the big boys. We can do this. Last season, transfer ban. Doesn't matter, boys and girls. We finish in the top 4. We get to an FA Cup final. We even do better than some clubs did against the European champions in only losing 7-1. I'm joking, of course. We can't lose 7-1 every year, but it wasn't the worst thing that I've ever seen in my life. So, Super Frankie Lampard, what he's got at Chelsea right now is 150% of the support from Marina Granovskaya, Roman Abramovich, the geezer that's not even allowed to come to flipping London, is dipping his hands in his pockets, sticking 100 million on a young German player who is going to come in and completely revolutionise this Chelsea team for many years to come. The waves are getting bigger behind me, and it kind of represents the blue waves that's going around the footballing world right now, because Chelsea, we are the talk of the world at this moment in time. The coronavirus came in, and it's inhibited a lot of clubs from actually making these kind of big money moves that we're seeing Chelsea make now. The reason there's a second video today is because the Havertz news wasn't the only news of the day. There is big news coming out of Chelsea in regards to the progress we're making with certain defenders. I don't want to talk about that now because this video is totally dedicated to talking about Mr. Kai Havertz and the fact that this deal that we've all been worried about. You guys have listened to me say, don't worry, it's gonna be done. You've all been like, Benson, do you know what you're talking about? Yes. And now it's like, it's pretty much done. The player's not holding up the shirt, but at this moment in time, every reputable journalist in the world is aware that Bayer Leverkusen and Chelsea have come to that agreement, and Kai Havertz will be a Chelsea player next season. I know the question that you're all asking is, where's his best position? Where's he gonna play? We'll save that for another video, because I think right now, Frank Lampard is probably thinking, blimey, rubbing his hands together, I've got some serious players in this Chelsea team to move forward. And then, once he's finished a glass of champagne and he's thinking, blimey, we've got a good team, he has the headache that comes after drinking, which is like, who do I play? Who starts where? What are the partnerships that I want to build? And tactically, where do all of these players fit into a system that we can build for many years to come? And I think that what we're going to see from Chelsea, maybe this season again, like with the goal is to bridge the gap, of course. With the players that we're buying, the amount of money we're spending, we should be challenging for the title. It's absolutely no-brainer in my opinion that we will be much closer next season. No disrespect to Liverpool, no disrespect to City as well, who are still a very good side, but Chelsea are going to be a force next season. It's almost impossible for them not to be. You forget that we've already got Timo Werner, one of the hottest marksmen in Europe, Hakim Ziyech, a wizard in the midfield for Ajax and in the Champions League against big teams as well. But I'm absolutely ecstatic that this deal is pretty much over the line. We can get excited now, you guys can stop worrying. This is going to be the biggest week in Chelsea's recent history because of what is being built with the players that we're bringing in, the backing of the manager, the feel-good factor around the club. And I want to finish this video talking about Havertz by saying a well done to all of you lot, because we've built an incredible energy pendulum. That's gonna, some of you might understand what I'm saying there. It's quite a deep thing. I'm not gonna go into it anymore. We have built such a love around Kai Havertz, and the man hadn't even signed. We hadn't heard of agreements being made between the clubs, but you go on Havertz's Instagram, you look on Twitter, people are just sending this guy love and just the joy that people have about the idea of him playing for Chelsea. This man is going to be so excited to put on our Chelsea Blues shirt, to play for our club, and to give his absolute best. The world is his oyster. He's 21 years old. Welcome to Chelsea, Mr. Kai Havertz. I hope this video, I hope nothing like astronomically crazy happens between you guys watching this and then new news coming out. But Kai Havertz is a Chelsea boy now. I could not be happier. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all the love over recent videos on GBFC. Now that we've really got our teeth into things to talk about, there'll be brand new videos every single day. And as I said at the start, when this one hits 10,000 likes, I'll upload for the second time for you all. Thank you guys for watching. I love you all. Come on, you Blues. Bye-bye.